Okay, so now it is your turn. Here are some other sentences. So Mr. Fox will not let his family starve. Mr. Fox has sharp eyes. Mr. Fox knows that the farmers are after him. He creeps down to the valley. He can see in the dark, and he will not let the farmers catch them. So what you need to do now is match these sentences up, and then can you join them using a conjunction? So pause the video now and have a go. Okay, year two, so let's have a look through these together. Well, the first sentence, let's start with that one. Mr. Fox will not let his family starve. Well, we can see that this sentence is negative, isn't it? Mr. Fox will not let his family starve. This is something that Mr. Fox will not let happen. So now let's have a look if we can find another negative sentence. Well, he creeps down to the valley. Is that negative? Well, no, it's not, because it's something that he does, isn't it? He creeps down to the valley. What about he can see in the dark? Well, no, that's not negative, because he can see in the dark. He will not let the farmers catch them. Ah, well, here we have a negative sentence. He will not let the farmers catch them. So that is something that Mr. Fox will not let happen. So I'm going to put that with my other negative sentence. So here I have got two negative sentences. Mr. Fox will not let his family starve. He will not let the farmers catch them. So what conjunction can I use to join two negative sentences? Ah, yes, you're right. I can use nor, can't I? Mr. Fox will not let his family starve, nor he will not let the farmers catch them. Oh, that second part doesn't sound right, does it? Could you pause the video and see how I could fix that last part of the sentence so that it sounds correct? Okay, year two, have you thought of how I could change it? Well, let's have a look. Nor he will not let the farmers catch them can be changed to nor will he let the farmers catch them. Okay, so we've changed the he and the will around, and we've got rid of the not. Okay, so Mr. Fox will not let his family starve, nor will he let the farmers catch them. Now you could have also had for this one, Mr. Fox will not let his family starve, so he creeps down to the valley. Okay, so the fact that Mr. Fox doesn't want his family to starve means that he then creeps down to the valley. So if you've got that one as well, that one is also correct. Okay, let's now have a look at this one. Mr. Fox has sharp eyes. Now, which sentence can we match with this one? Is it he creeps down to the valley, or he can see in the dark? Well, creeping down to the valley doesn't have anything to do with the fact that Mr. Fox has sharp eyes, does it? But the fact that he can see in the dark does have something to do with the fact that he has sharp eyes. So therefore, I'm going to put he can see in the dark with Mr. Fox has sharp eyes. Now, the fact that Mr. Fox has sharp eyes means that he can then see in the dark. So therefore, that is a consequence. So what conjunction can we use to show a consequence? Mr. Fox has sharp eyes, so he can see in the dark. Okay, the last one. Mr. Fox knows that the farmers are after him. Well, we only have one sentence left, don't we? Which is, he still creeps down to the valley. So Mr. Fox knows that the farmers are after him. He still creeps down to the valley. Now, if you know that farmers are after you, you probably wouldn't creep down to the valley, would you? So therefore, these sentences are not equal. They are contrasting. So what conjunctions can we use when two sentences are contrasting? Oh, yes, you're right. We can use but or yet, can't we? So I'm going to put yet into this sentence. Mr. Fox knows that the farmers are after him, yet he still creeps down to the valley. So even though he knows that the farmers are after him, he still decides to creep down to the valley. Okay, now another one you could have had with that one is Mr. Fox knows that the farmers are after him, but he will not let the farmers catch them. Okay, so you could have had that one as well. Okay, so well done if you're able to match those up and add a conjunction. So like I said, we are now going to have a look at these sentences and see if we can improve them even further. So here is my first sentence. Mr. Fox wears a smart coat, but his fur is tattered. Okay, now I've got here, Mr. Fox wears a smart coat. Now I have only used one adjective to describe Mr. Fox's coat. But what about if I wanted to use an expanded noun phrase here? How many adjectives would I need? Well, I know when I use an expanded noun phrase, I need 2 adjectives. Now, what other adjective could I use to describe Mr. Fox's coat? Well, if I have a look at it, it's blue, isn't it? Can you remember one of the synonyms for blue that we looked at the other lesson? Oh, yes, that's right. It's navy, isn't it? So I could say Mr. Fox wears a navy smart coat. Okay, Mr. Fox wears a navy smart coat. But his fur is tattered. Now, where is his fur? Could we include that? Well, yes, his fur is beneath his coat, isn't it? So we can say beneath it, because I'm using it because we're talking about the coat. Mr. Fox wears a smart coat, but beneath it, his fur is tattered. Now, again, I've only used 1 adjective to describe his fur. Could we use a power of 3 here? How many adjectives do I need to use for a power of 3? Well, I need 3 adjectives. And remember, I need to use a comma, and then I need an and as well. Now, what other adjectives could I use to describe Mr. Fox's fur? Oh, yes, I could use auburn, thick, and tattered. Can you see how I've got a comma between auburn and thick? And then between thick and tattered, I've got an and, haven't I? Okay, so look how much I've improved this sentence just by adding an expanded noun phrase, a power of 3, and a beneath it, which shows us where Mr. Fox's fur is. It's beneath his coat. Okay, so let's have a look at another one. We have got Mr. Fox's nose twitches, so he can smell the farmers approaching. Okay, so Mr. Fox's nose. Oh, well, we haven't described Mr. Fox's nose, have we? How could we describe Mr. Fox's nose? Could we use an expanded noun phrase? Well, I know that I need 2 adjectives for an expanded noun phrase. So I'm going to put Mr. Fox's sharp, wet nose twitches. Now, how does it twitch? Oh, I know it twitches from side to side. Okay, so it twitches from side to side. So that's telling me how it twitches. So already in the first sentence, I've added sharp, wet to describe his nose, and I've described how his nose twitches. So he can smell. Now, I don't like the verb smell. I think I can think of a better one, a verb that really makes you imagine what he does. Oh, I know. Sniff out, okay, because they're smelly, aren't they? Sniff out the farmers. Again, I haven't put any adjectives to describe the farmers. Now, I would like to use an expanded noun phrase again. And I know that an expanded noun phrase needs 2 adjectives. Now, how could I describe the farmers? Well, the farmers are evil, aren't they? And they also smell pretty bad, don't they? So I'm going to describe them as reeking. If you reek, you smell really bad. Okay, so I'm going to say the evil, reeking farmers approaching. Now, where can I see them approaching? Oh, I can see them approaching in the distance. Okay, so I've got Mr. Fox's sharp, wet nose twitches from side to side so he can smell. Oh, no, he can sniff out the evil, reeking farmers approaching in the distance. So I've added 5 different things to this sentence, and it has really improved it, hasn't it? Okay, so now it is your turn. Here are 2 of the sentences that we put together a little bit earlier. So we've got Mr. Fox knows that the farmers are after him, yet he creeps down to the valley. Mr. Fox has sharp eyes so he can see in the dark. So I would like you to pause the video and try and work out how you can improve these sentences even further. Could you add some adverbs? Could you add some expanded noun phrases, some power of 3s? What could you add to improve these sentences? Okay, year 2. So let's have a look what I thought of. So the first thing I thought of was to describe the farmers. So I've used an expanded noun phrase here. The evil, sly farmers. Remember, you need 2 adjectives for an expanded noun phrase. Now, what else have I added? Well, I've also added still, yet he still creeps down to the valley. And then I've added every night to steal food from the farmers. So I've said when he creeps down to the valley. Mr. Fox knows that the evil, sly farmers are after him. Yet he still creeps down to the valley every night to steal food from the farmers. So I've said when and I've said why in that last part of the sentence. You could have also added an adverb of manner to describe how he creeps down to the valley. Maybe you could say he still creeps silently. He still silently creeps down to the valley. Okay, so you could have added silently there. Then also we have Mr. Fox has sharp eyes so he can see in the dark. Now, what could we add to this sentence to improve it? Well, again, I have only used one adjective to describe Mr. Fox's eyes. So I've decided to add sharp, beady eyes. So again, another expanded noun phrase. Mr. Fox has sharp, beady eyes so he can see in the dark. Now, how can you see in the dark if you have sharp eyes? Could I use an adverb here? Oh, I know. I wanted to use clearly here. Mr. Fox has sharp, beady eyes, so he can see clearly in the dark. So there we go. That's how I've improved these sentences, but you might have thought of some other ways to improve them, which is absolutely excellent. So now it is your turn. So I have just described Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I have used conjunctions to extend my sentences for my character description. So now you are going to be describing Farmer Bean, aren't you? And on your worksheet, which is called Year 2 English, 1st of March, Resource 1, you have some sentences that I have started, okay? And then you have the conjunction that you need to use. So you need to think, okay, my first sentence and my conjunction, how could I finish this sentence off? What sort of thing do I need? Do I need an equal sentence? Do I need a contrasting sentence? Do I need a consequence? Do I need a reason? Okay, how can I finish this sentence off to make sure that my sentence makes sense? And then once you've had a go at the ones where I've given you the first sentence and the conjunction, have a go at creating your own for your character description for Farmer Bean. Remember, we are using the conjunctions and, but, so, yet, and nor. And then also the subordinating conjunction because. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing your sentences with the different conjunctions in. And have a lovely rest of your day, Year 2. And I'll see you in our next English lesson. Bye.